Hello, dear students. Today we are going to start our fifth chapter of the book Snapshot Mother's Day, written by J.B. Priestley. Very interesting chapter it is. Basically, it's a play, and the theme of the chapter is, which many of us also do in general. Many a times we take our mothers for granted, especially when they are housewives. We take them for granted, and we don't even care about their feelings and emotion. Whole day they work for the family. Actually they do so much sacrifices for the family, but the family members, they fail to understand it. So same thing happens in this story also. And then Mrs. Pearson, the story is about Mrs. Pearson, how she changes after that, and people that in the family, they understand her value at last. Okay, so how it goes on, we'll see it now. First of all, we'll talk about the characters. Mrs. Annie Pearson, George Pearson, her husband; Doris Pearson, her daughter; Cyril Pearson, her son; and Mrs. Fitzgerald, she's her friend. So this takes place in a living room, Pearson house in London suburb. Suburb means it was in outskirts of London. So the time is present. Scene is of the living room of the Pearson family. Afternoon. It is comfortably furnished, much lived in room in a small suburb, semi-detached villa they live. If necessary, only one door need to be used, but it is better with two. One up left leading to the front door and the stair, and the other in the right wall leading to the kitchen in the and the back door. There can be a muslin covered window in the left wall. Muslin is a cloth, we say malmal, and wall, and possibly one in the right wall. To the fireplace is assumed to be in the fourth wall. There is a settee, upright. Settee means a long seat is kept there. An armchair down left and one down right. A small table with two chairs on either side of it stands at the center. So this is the play starts. When the play starts, this is the first scene, and the scene is of the living room of Pearson family. When the curtain raises, it is an afternoon in early autumn, and the stage can be well lit. So stage is well lit. When the curtain raises, it's a play, and when play starts, it is well lit with proper light. Mrs. Pearson at right and Mrs. Fitzgerald at left are sitting opposite each other at the small table, as you can see in the picture. They are sitting opposite to each other, on which are two teacups and a saucer, and the cards with which Mrs. Fitzgerald has been telling Mrs. Pearson fortune. So Mrs. Fitzgerald, she has learned to tell the fortune with the cards. So she is sitting there. Both ladies are sitting there with the tea, and she's telling her fortune. Mrs. Pearson is a pleasant but worried looking woman in her 40s. Mrs. Pearson, she's of around 40 years and worried looking woman. Mrs. Fitzgerald is older, heavier, and strong, and sinister personality. She's old, and she's heavy, fat, and she's doesn't have a good personality, ugly personality. She's fat. She's smoking. It is very important that these two should have sharply contrasting voice. So when we have this play, both the this lady should have contrasting different voice. Mrs. Pearson is speaking in light, flurried sort of tone, very light tone, very slowly she speaks, very nervous type of tone, with a touch of suburban Cockney perhaps, and Mrs. Fitzgerald with a deep voice, rather Irish perhaps. So she's like Mrs. Pearson. She speaks very lightly, and as it is spoken, the people of London, Cockney perhaps means the Cockney, the way of speaking of London, that is known as Cockney. So she is speaking in that way, and Mrs. Fitzgerald, she is speaking with a deep voice like Irish people. So the play starts now. Mrs. Fitzgerald collecting up the cards. And that's all I can tell you, Mrs. Pearson. Could be a good fortune, could be a bad one. All depends on yourself now. Make up your mind, and there it is. So now they both are sitting and they are talking about Mrs. Pearson must have discussed about her family with Mrs. Fitzgerald, and now she is telling her about this. It's on you. How do you take it and how you make your fortune? Mrs. Pearson, yes, thank you. Mrs. Fitzgerald, I'm much obliged. I'm sure it's a wonderful having a real fortune teller living next door. Did you learn that out east too? She said, I'm thank you so much for your concern. I'm obliged, and it's wonderful to have you here next door as my friend. And where did you learn this? Did you learn this in east? This also you learn in east. Okay, then Mrs. Fitzgerald. I did. 12 years I had of it. With my old man rising to be a lieutenant quartermaster, he learned a lot. So I learned with that. And I learned a lot more. But will you make up your mind now, Mrs. Pearson dear? She said, I have learned it there and I have learned so many things. But will you make up your mind now, Mrs. Pearson? She's talking about. Put your foot down once and for all, and be the mistress of your own house and the boss of your own family. So now she's telling her, just be the boss of your house, be the mistress of your house, and she's going to tell her something now, what to do, how to become that. That's easier said than done. Besides, I'm so fond of them, even if they are so thoughtless and selfish. They don't mean to be. But Mr. Pearson said, no, but whatever they are, how they are thoughtless and selfish, my children and my family, but still I love them and they are special for me. Fitzgerald, maybe not, but it would be better for them if they learn to treat you properly. He said, but they should learn to treat you properly. Yes, I suppose it would, in a way. No doubt about it all. Who is the better for being spoiled? Grown man, lad, or girl? Now she's asking who is the better for spoiling? Who is that? Who is more spoiled? Your husband, your daughter, or your son? Nobody. You think it doesn't them good when you run after them all the time. Take their orders if you were the servant in the house. Stay at home every night while they go out enjoying themselves. So now she's trying to tell her, just take care. You are also a person, you also have a life, and why do you behave like this with them? You are behaving like their servant. They treat you like a servant whole day and night. They go outside, they enjoy, and what do you do at home? Never in all your life. It's a ruin of them as well as you. Husbands and daughters should be taking notice of wives and mothers, not giving them orders and treating them like dirt. So they should understand that you are their mother, and they should understand how they should treat you. Even husband also should treat you like husband wife, and the children also should treat you like mothers, not like servant giving orders and doing all the work. And don't tell me you don't know what I mean, for I know more than you have told me. And she said, don't think that I don't know anything. Whatever you have told, I know it well. Now you should show them that you should treat them like that, so that they understand the lesson. I keep dropping a hint. Hint. It's more than hints your family needs, Mr. Pearson. He said it's not the only hint your family needs. They need more than that. I suppose it is, but I do hate any unpleasantness, and it's so hard to know where to start. I keep making up my mind to have it out with them, but somehow I don't know how to begin. She said, I also want that, but I don't. I hate unpleasant thing is if I behave differently, something happens in my home, and it is very hard to start. I don't know. So many times I think like I'll start, but I don't know from where to begin. She glanced at her watch or at a clock. Oh, God gracious, look at the time, nothing ready, and they'll be home any minute and probably all in a hurry to go out again. She said, oh my God, look at the watch. It's already the time. They must have come home, and I have not made anything, and nothing is ready there, and they will come home and they have to go out again. So I have to take care of this. So better I will go home.